heart attack. Fast, fatal, hard impact. Past painful scars, in fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked. Attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new silver excuse, I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're just freaked out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kure Show here. And now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Deku. And quite a few things have been going on. Right now, Deku, during the Kengan Annihilation Tournament, he's discovered something. People are planning against him, and they're possibly trying to cheat Deku out of his first tournament. Within the next 3 days, he's supposed to go through 5 fights, 2 of them on the first day, where he faced off against some very strong opponents. And everybody else will be having their fights the next day. He's the only person who did 2 on the first day. And right now, Deku, he's become more aware of his emotions. He finds it to be very strange. Kirishima, she kissed him. And Deku, he doesn't know how to really feel about that. He does feel embarrassment. He does feel something. And he just feels overall uneasy because of the way his cousin approached him about the subject. She's trying to inform him that they have to be found worthy of being a Kure before they can really be considered a partner. And Deku, he knows about this all too well. Love. He believes that that is what this emotion is. And right now, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Fall in love, go excommunicado, and leave his clan to ruins with his uncle. Or stay, throw love away, and become the leader of the Kure, like his dead grandfather wanted him to be. He doesn't know what to decide. And we do actually have the next day. Right now, Deku, he's standing in the ring. He's watched all of the matches up until now. And he can't help but just think. He's still wondering about that choice. It should not be that hard. All he's ever wanted in his life is to become the leader of the Kure clan. He knew one day his grandfather would die and he would inherit that title. Ryan, yeah, he'd be too old and crazy. At some point, he'd just be dead on a mission or something. And his mom, she's not the leadership type. She's expressed very much a lot of regard in not leading the Kure like that. In fact, she kind of ultimately became less of a Kure. If he does have to put it into words, she had a family. And while she does teach his little sister about the assassination lifestyle, she knows that he was always a different breed of Kure. Now that Deku's thinking about it, does his mother know? And that does somewhat concern him, as we do actually have the opponent that Deku's facing off against. The man he introduced himself, and Deku, he can't help but crack a smile. The man, yeah, he's the 5th Fang of Mensudo. His grandfather was a Fang of Mensudo at one point. And right now, he knows that this man is nothing to joke around with or play with. Especially because, in regards to his file, there's nothing about him having a quirk, but he knows it's complete and utter bullshit. He can just tell by looking at this man. He would not be here if he didn't have a quirk, or if he was a Kure. There's only one reason he's here. It's because of power. Physically, or because of a quirk's ability. And Deku can't really decide which one would be better. the man does bring his hands up and get ready. As Deku, he does decide to human this man for a minute, as he does quickly go to rush up and clear the distance in between them. As, while the man he did have his hands up, in almost an instant, Deku was already right on top of him. Deku sweeping his left leg by pulling it upwards, and going to throw out a left hook. Deku smashed the man in the face as he actually tried to counter. Now, the man goes flying backwards down towards the ground. As whenever the man did go to counter, Deku swung his head to the side and went to go bring out his right hand, him hammering his fist down hard into the man's chest. As the man did go to bring up his left leg, him smashing his knee directly into Deku's side as Deku he got sent flying farther than he expected. Him actually smashing into the ground as he does go to get back up. Him going to stand up as he's going to look down at the damage on his rib, before it's not going to wipe away a piece of blood that's on the side of his mouth. And you do actually have everybody in the stance. The fact that that man just damaged a Kure, it's gotta be something. And Deku he does immediately pinpoint this man's quirk. Strength enhancement. At least that's what he does think it is. As we do actually have the girls. They watch Deku activate the removal and rush towards him, thinking that, oh okay, he'll get this. This will just be a really quick fight. And Deku will just wrap it up and go to the next one tomorrow. Or the next one today, and then the finals tomorrow. It does seem rather peculiar. If what she thinks that man's quirk is actually it, then the idea of it will be strange. And you do actually have back down in the ring, Deku rushed forwards, as the man did so as well. Deku being surprised whenever he did look down and see the man, who immediately went to go bring his fist upwards, hitting Deku hard in the face, throwing an uppercut his way as Deku got sent flying 15 feet up into the air. And he was just thinking, oh, that's the ceiling, was his first thought, before he does come smashing back down. And as he was flying down towards the ground, the man did actually rush forwards, kicking him in the head. This sending Deku flying towards the wall as he just smashed into it, hitting the ground before going to get back up. And Deku, he does notice something. Okay, he must have been wrong. Deku actually going to stand back up before cracking his neck, asking the guy if he was really going to hide an enhancement quirk that easily. Shouldn't your skull be fractured by now? Kure training. Along with a few other things. Have a sledgehammer hit you in the head every day, you get used to it. Kind of becomes nothing more than a pencil needle. The man's staring at Deku. Okay, so brain trauma might be out of the question for him. He'll actually have to fight this one. Deku and the man rush towards each other. As everybody they do watch what happens. Deku, he's humoring the man, and everybody can tell that Deku, he seems a little bit different today. Did they get that Kure blood boiling? Because it seems like this guy is acting a bit more like Ryan. Well, he is a Kure after all, and they do love combat, so it can't be helped. This being what you do actually have up in the observation room, where Mr. Yaoyorozu, he's commenting that Deku is holding back, isn't he? And you do actually have Bakugo, Kirishima, Mina, Kendo, and Momo. All of them that they do somewhat speak up. They tell Mr. Yaoyorozu that he is, but they don't know why. And you do actually have Deku. Right now, he's just trying to think. He's got so much on his mind. He doesn't even know when to start, or even how to begin with it. His thoughts, they've been clouded. And he can't help it. Right now, he needs a good fight. Something to just distract him. Something to take the edge off. And he decides to forego or dismiss his somewhat peacekeeping ways. He wants to have another good fight. And while this tournament is an opportunity for it, he wants to have one he can enjoy. And this man right now, he's proving to be a good one. As Deku and the man, they're both staying there in the middle of the ring. Right now they're going seemingly blow for blow. Deku is either humoring this man or this man is actually a lot stronger than most people have thought. Since right now he's going toe to toe with the Kure. And you do actually have Ryan. He is staring down into the ring. Not only is he both proud, but he is actually also a bit more concerned. He knows the way Deku does act nowadays. And right now, this seems like a return to primal nature, if you don't want to put it that way. And you do actually have where Deku, he actually does take a heavy blow across the face. Deku taking the hit as he actually does get a turn, looking at this man before going to just seemingly throw it a punch. Now, Deku, he actually let out a little bit more power than he thought, since he did turn on One for All at about 5%. Whenever Deku threw the punch, the man he actually gets flying backwards as his feet were skidding into the ground. Him actually going to bring his hands out and dig them into the ground. As Deku just step forwards more. Now, the man actually is going to bring up his hand, covering his mouth, as blood does start pouring out of it. And Deku does just look at the man. Come on, is that it? Is that all you've got? I throw a punch a little bit harder, and you were just gonna give up? The man looking back at Deku, and staring at him. As Deku, he does disappear for 1 second. The moment Deku disappeared, the man he was looking around. As you do actually have where he did go to spin around behind him, and Deku he just threw out his hand. Deku jabbing the man in the throat with his left palm. Before the man tried to throw out one of his fists, it directly smashed into Deku's face. Deku catching the punch as the man did try to pull back his hand. At the moment he did so, he did find that he couldn't move it. Along with it, there's pain in 2 of his knuckles. Deku actually bring out his hands and going to grab the man by the side of his head, before beginning to lift him up into the air. And the man, as he did actually get lifted up, he did see Deku, his face, along with his mouth. His fist, half of it is contained inside Deku's mouth, and Deku's biting down. And right now, Deku just crushes his fingers in his mouth, as he does start to squeeze down the side of his head, asking the man if he's going to give up. And the man, he does try to say something. However, Deku just goes to bring him upwards and smash him down to the ground, before going to just toss him up into the air and send a heavy blow directly into him. The moment Deku does send out a kick, he does so at 10% of One for All, along with the removal, as the man's body gets sent flying across the arena and smashes into a concrete wall, where he does not get up from. And a lot of people, they're just staring at Deku, as they felt a shockwave come off of his foot. And everyone, they're just standing there, or sitting down in pure silence, as you do actually have the loud room just a second ago. And you do also have Ryan and the other Cures. Deku's never shown this level of power, and it actually does somewhat surprise Ryan. He can tell from Deku, he is not using that other technique. What is it, the Lone or the Advance? That was purely the removal. And it does somewhat annoy him. He doesn't know if his nephew's been holding back, or if he's grown in power. And he does have an idea that does shoot across his mind for a second, but he does quickly dismiss it. It doesn't seem like that's it. It can't be. Grandfather predicted it would happen in 3 generations. But that can't be right. It should be Deku's children, or his grandchildren. Even his sisters, or another Cures. Inside the main branch, though, this can't be it. And it does somewhat concern Ryan for a second. He doesn't know. He must be misreading it. He must be seeing it wrong. And he does quickly try to think of something that could be it, as his mind goes to a quirk. Now, Deku, he does leave the ring, leave the ring, as after leaving and going back to the observation room, he does quietly sit down, as he's still trying to think about everything. That fight, he enjoyed it, but it wasn't what he wanted. It didn't satisfy that itch he's been having for months. It has not satisfied the one he's ignored for years. The part of him that's a Kure. The part of him that makes his blood boil. That makes fights seem like all there is in life. The part of him he can't deny anymore. It's bubbling back up to the surface and he hates it. He hates that he's enjoying it. Now, all the girls are just quietly sitting there. Right now, they're a little terrified of Deku, along with what he just did. They can see the look on his face. However, it does contradict what happened down there. Deku, he thinks he's sitting down with a stone face. However, in reality, the girls, they see that his face is one of sadness. It's also one of, well, it shows something. It looks like Deku just broke a promise to somebody, and he hates that he did it. At the same time, while they're afraid of him, they're also a bit more concerned. Is he okay? That can't be right. Whatever is going on with him, it must be something big if he just did that. If Deku's acting more like a Kure, how he talks about them acting, then something's wrong with him. And you do actually have Kirishima. Right now, she does think that this is partially her fault. And she can't help but just somewhat stand up and walk out of the room. Deku actually turning his head away from the fight as he does see her walk away. And he does somewhat just grit his teeth together. Along with actually Bakugo watching Deku somewhat grab his hand into a fist. And somewhat crush the, well, the right arm of the chair he's sitting down in. And Deku, he does motion as if he's going to stand up. However, he does quickly just freeze and stop, before forcing himself to sit back down. And Bakugo should take notice to that. Her standing up quickly and going to walk away, as if to chase after her. Since, whatever is going on, it only started after yesterday. And Kirishima, she has been acting sort of weird. The two, they are sharing a room, but she's not talking. She's not acting like her usual cheery, somewhat airheaded self. She is a lot more serious in tone. Yeah, she does it a lot, but right now it seems like she's doing that too often. She doesn't let herself relax or let her guard down. And those are the problems she is seeing. Now, we do actually have in the hallway, with Kirishima and Bakugo. Both of them are currently walking down the hallway as Bakugo is calling out her name, asking Kirishima if she is okay, and if something's wrong. To which she doesn't really respond, up until Bakugo, after basically running forwards and going to throw out a hand in front of her, after getting in front of her, telling her to stop. I couldn't see that any longer. That's not it, is it? No. Listen, I don't want to talk about it. You're concerned for him too, aren't you? Yeah. What he did down there, he was like another person. Both of them actually turning around. And they do see, well, the girl. The one who helped train them. What are you doing here? Well, I came to cheer on my family. However, I see something else is happening. So you know what's going on then? Yes, I do. It all started with your little friend over there. Along with that, if you do want to put it in a way, blame the Kure traditions. Neither of you are strong enough to be, well, suitable to be brought into the fold. What the hell are you going on about? Now, the girl she was leaning off the wall. Ashes stepped forwards, informing both of them that neither of them are strong enough to enter the Kure clan. And right now what her cousin is doing is simple. He's trying to drive them away, and he's returning back to the nature of what he used to be. He's returning back to the idea of being a true Kure, being the ruthless assassin their family has always been. He will no longer be tainted by the ideas his father put into his head, the ones of trying to live a normal life. There is no life other than what they have as Cures. This is it. Death, violence, murder, it's all a Cure will know. It's all their ancestors have known. It's all their descendants will ever know. There is no changing it, and there is no escape once the blood is inside of you. And both of them, they do just stare at her. As you do actually have Kirishima. She could activate her quirk and rush towards this girl, trying to inform her that she was wrong. However, yeah. After a few quick slashes with her quirk and a removal later, Kirishima, she actually was somewhat hurt quite a bit. And Bakugo, she tried to face off against her. Both of the two realizing very quickly, there is only one thing that they can do. The two can't solo this girl. Bakugo, because of her speed, she's very good. However, the girl's cat-like reflexes, her quirk, and her agility, along with having the strength in being in a small space, it all goes perfect for her. She's able to outmaneuver Bakugo and, using her own techniques, take her down very quickly. The two are seen as nothing but cannon fodder to the Kure. And she has actually announced that she wasn't even really using a lot of power. That was mainly just her quirk. However, the heavy blows, they were quite good. She does actually do one thing though. She does commend Bakugo on her speed and Kirishima on her durability. Her quirk has improved. However, she's not close at all. She felt like she was punching through something harder than cement though. She'll give her that. Her quickly going to walk away. As the two, they do both sit there somewhat licking their wounds. They both have a lot of damage done to them. And right now, they don't know what to even say. However, as the two, they both do make their way to the infirmary to actually get treated to. You do actually have work, Bakugo. She does ask Kirishima to start from the beginning because she wants to know what the hell that was all about. Now, with that being said, we do actually have the last match before the finals. The match that makes Deku into the semifinals. After this match, he will win. All he has to do is fight the last opponent in the way. However, the opponent that he's currently facing off against will be a lot harder to counter. Especially since everybody heard the announcements. Everybody is watching. As the two, they both step into the ring. Right now, it's Kure against Kure. And Deku, he's staring at his uncle. And his uncle is staring at him. As everybody, they're just watching. And they know what they're about to see. It's going to be a bloody battle of demigods. Now, with that being said, sorry to leave you guys on a cliffhanger, but I want to make this a full episode for the next fight. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed.